Well, the thing about that is I've got the principal now, and I have the PTO president, and I have the parent liaison, and quite a few of the staff there. So we are all rallying to stop that from happening, even the phase out, because what is going on academically, since they said they were gonna close the school, School 44 has really changed its way of teaching the children. They've got this Common Core system that they're using now, that I guess all the schools are trying to make sure they qualify and do. So 44 has implemented that, but they've even taken on a more personal role in the studies of what their children, the principal and vice principal know every name of every children in that school, which is awesome because you don't find that often. They've taken the time to get to know who each child is so that if there's problems, they can call parents. I've seen them go pick up children to bring them to school. I've seen them take children home when disciplinary actions needed to be discussed with parents, you know? They're not sitting there just taking things and letting it happen. So the school has improved a lot. One of the students, I was told today, ranked top in the city academically last year, and they're still attending the school. So
Which grade is that, Beverly?
What grade was the student in? I'll have all that tomorrow morning.
Okay.
First thing in the morning, because I am going to the Board of Education meeting tomorrow. I've asked for the attendance for the children who are in that area, I wanted the attendance period to see if children are attending school regularly. Then I wanted to know how many in the neighborhood are attending the school and how many are bused in. And also, we needed to know what was the general grade status there. Is the school performing above, below, or beyond that, average? We also wanted to know the Spanish to English speaking population. So we wanted to see how many people have a different language. Also, I did ask them how many people in the community who didn't have children there have actually attended the meetings. Because there's, like me, I don't have a child there, I have a grandchild there, So there's also parents like one of the ladies I go to physical therapy with, she's attended one of the meetings now because she lives right across the street from the school and I told her. So things like that.
So the community's getting involved.
The community is getting involved. The reality is the community really didn't know. And that's what I needed them, I'm trying to get out to them and to the school board and even to all the committees that I'm talking to, is that not only are a lot of the parents misinformed, the community hasn't been informed. So even if they do close it, say push come to shove and they close it, the people of the community are pretty much going to be stuck with whatever they decide they want to do with it without them even having to say something. And seeing as that's a community school, I think the community has a right to know what's going on and to say what they want to have at the school, not just all us parents, grandparents. And so that was another thing. How did Vargas say? As far as he knew, there was a miscommunication between the Board of Education, the staff, to the parents. So if you know there was a miscommunication, how come you haven't fixed it? And
yeah, they came out. In fact, you were at that meeting, that first meeting when they announced it a year and a half ago.
Yeah, the guy in the gym.
Yeah, I wasn't there. We had this meeting that coincided with it.
Yeah, and at that time it was quite a ways off. If you look on the plan that's on the website, and actually 44 was going to be used as a buffer school when people would move out of their school to get renewed and come back. So Well, you have to try to distinguish, Beverly, I have a long, hard problem with it sometimes out of the city district. When are they talking about number 10, the building, and when are they talking about number 10, the school? And the student body, because the student body can move, or the student body can be closed, and the building can be closed, and those are two separate
The
decisions.
building itself, from what I understand him saying, is he wants to remove the students from the building.
Right, so the building will.
This is at 44?
At 44 school. So he already has phased out the kindergarten, which we're trying to get back in. Because this kids are, it goes pre-K, first grade. And then it's second, third, fourth. So what do we do with the pre-K kids? Now we ship them away. So if we ship them away, it's harder to get them to come back. See what I'm saying? Because he phased out the kindergarten already. So, how he was saying it is that he just wanted the classes to slowly increment up until it slowly
I'm sorry, Bill.
shut things down.
I thought everybody had come in.
No, I was just sitting in the car reading. How long have you been in here?
Like 10 minutes? 10 minutes? No, 5 minutes. Was that still?
Whatever. That's okay.
They asked us to take our, no, they asked us to take our shoes off, so if you.
Okay,
don't mind
sure.
anymore.
Out in the hall.
Yeah.
So, the thing is that a lot of the students and the parents there don't even want to do it. They've already figured out that the transition from grade school to junior high was going to be enough of a transition and a problem trying to figure out where to send their children then, because of the way schools are setting up in the neighborhood, that they'd rather just leave their children pretty much where they're at and let them have the security of staying at 44, or if they're at 29, staying at 29. A lot of them that I talk to don't even want to deal with charter schools, because the few people who have always had negative. See, I've never sent any kids to charter schools. My kids went to public school, so even once in commencement. But and I lived on Arnett on the other side of Genesee Street at the time, so it was right across the street pretty much. I walked there in 2 minutes, so I'm into the neighborhood. The parents here are saying that the children, like one lady for instance, her son had a problem at the charter school, and they put him out. No ifs, ands, or buts, no, you can come back. They put him out, and she had to find another school to put him in.
Let's see, and this is the reality of charter schools, and those of us who know that try to get the word out to people
Right.
that they can be selected.
Yes.
And what they don't want is any child that has any kind of a issue.
Going there.
And so rather than address the issue and help the child, they
They'd rather
just
get
push
rid
them
of
out.
push them back into the system.
Right, yeah.
And that's where they're having the neighborhood around there, the few people I've talked to are really having issues. So the biggest thing about School 44, like I said, is based mainly toward the younger children. It's like catch them young, give them the stability when they're young, and help them grow from there. So a lot of the people are all for trying to hold on to this school, and so I'm just asking for all the support I can get, and along with some of these other associations, that we all can get together and try to save School 44, because if there's the one thing the community is about, is supposed to be there to help nurture each other. And I think if we don't start with our youngest, most favorite, most brightest, which is our children and our grandchildren, we're losing the battle right there. We gotta start young. And if we can't show them stability right now, it's gonna be a long haul for the rest of their lives, because they're still gonna be moving and jumping and going and flip-flopping. So bad enough, sometimes parents have to move from here to here to here to here. School is the only stable place they really have. You know, only good places they get meals. You know, sometimes, I mean, there's a lot of things to think about before you want to shut down the school. And I don't think a lot of people have given that enough consideration
Yeah.
for a small neighborhood school.
At the meeting yesterday, it sounded like from what Dr. Vargas was saying that most likely it will be open next year unless something unforeseen happens. So it sounds like they're going to be there next year yet. Is that the way you folks understood it when he was?
Yes, I understood it as it will be open next year, but what he doesn't want it to do is take any new pupils out. He
Yeah,
doesn't want, if you move into the neighborhood and say, okay, I just moved on Charlie Avenue and I want my child, I'm 4 houses down, I want my child to go to 44th School. He says, no, you can't have your child go there. He's not gonna let you send your child there because they're trying to close it out, phase it out. So no, he's not gonna let them accept any new children
Now-
as of the end of the
So
school
there'll be
year.
no pre-Ks.
Nope, no more pre-Ks. Don't know what we're gonna do with the pre-Ks now that don't have a kindergarten. I'm trying to fight to get the kindergarten back in so they can just keep the stability going. But, as of right now, there's not even a kindergarten. We're pre-K now to first grade.
Who's
the,
pre-K to first grade?
44, Vargas took out kindergarten this year. He closed it down.
So what, it's starting at first grade?
It was at pre-K, kindergarten, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth.
Okay,
He snatched out the kindergarten. That's his way of saying, okay, even if you do preschool, that's then your kid somewhere else, maybe you won't come back. It's his way of trying to shut down the school slowly but surely.
Well, wait a minute, I thought
And
44 was gonna remain open. I thought that somebody just said.
no, we're fighting to keep it open.
it'll be open next year,
Okay.
but they, it used to be pre-K through 8, and then this year they eliminated 7 and 8.
Right.
Seventh and
Which
eighth
is
and
good as far as
kindergarten.
I'm concerned. But then they also took kindergarten out.
Yeah.
That's not good. Now,
He's doing.
you talked to Mary Adams
Oh, yeah.
yesterday or
I talked to
today?
Mary Adams today. She's more than willing to listen, more than willing to give me suggestions on the next steps I all need to take this and to know exactly what I need to do and who I need to contact, what paperwork needs to get done to try to fight the closing of School 44. We're gonna meet this Saturday, where she has now found herself in a situation where she will be out of town. So I will see her tomorrow at this pool board meeting. So she said, she will see me there and we'll probably be able to get a small chat in there. And then after that, we're gonna meet January 3rd at a diner, the Chi-Li Diner on Chi-Li Avenue, because it's like kind of in between both of our houses. And we're gonna discuss where I need to go from there and what I need to do to inform committees of how we can go about trying to save School 44 and what things might need to be implemented at the school and what things parents and students would need to do. So,
tell me when that meeting is again, January?
January 3rd
And you're gonna be meeting with
at the Chi-Li Diner.
Chi-Li
Oh,
Diner?
right there across from the Hess station, ain't that right there? By the laundry.
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh, right there in Chi-Li.
Oh,
Avenue.
way out in Days?
Oh, no, it's right there on Chi-Li Avenue.
Where that
Just
quick
after
fill is? There's a
Genesee
quick
Park
fill?
Boulevard. Yeah, by the quick.
Oh, okay.
Just after Genesee Park Boulevard.
The Hess station or the quick fill?
Quick fill, okay, quick fill.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
So we're gonna meet there on the 3rd at 11 o'clock. It's gonna be, I hope, a great brainstorming session, and I hope Anna's gonna come.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I have to, my father is in the hospital.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, she was talking about on January 3rd, if you can make it to
Oh,
that.
do you know that?
Saturday, January 3rd with
Okay.
Mary Adams.
It's for here. Let me put it in my phone.
Who's sitting here?
Nobody. Oh, I don't know whose stuff this is. I guess it's.
Oh, thank you.
The,
It's okay.
I just know that.
now, the
Oh,
thing that I had spoken to Mary Adams yesterday, and one of the one of the options that she thought was probably the most likely to have a chance, although she's saying, I don't want to give
False hope.
not false hope, but to dampen what you want to try doing. If you want to go for the brass ring, there's a lot of people that have to be connected with, and fire up the community. But the most likely thing she thought would be doable is to try to keep the kids from the neighborhood, or encourage kids from the neighborhood to attend the school, with the idea of, and keep it open until 16 comes back, and then use 16 as a place to put neighborhood kids into from 44. And she mentioned, one of the things that we have to face is that populating 44 with all neighborhood kids is going to be a challenge. So this might be one way of helping bring local kids into 16. Wouldn't keep school 44 open, but that's one possibility that she's been kicking around and trying to find some way of keeping as many local kids in the local schools. But it's a heck of a long walk, or to go from neighborhoods at 44 currently to 16, it's a long walk.
It's a long walk.
Oh, yeah.
And you also have to think about the thought that at least I do, because a lot of the parents, I see them when they come in, and a lot of them are getting off work in the morning or heading for work in the morning, and they've already had to deal with their children all night and things, and do things, and they kind of got a routine, and we're going to be breaking routines, and everybody's got to switch, and jobs are at stake here, and it's hard enough to get one and keep one. And so I'm trying to find a happy medium for everyone. I really would like to just keep the school open. If it was me and I could wave a magic wand, done. But she referred me to Valerie Berrettini at School 44.
Yeah, she was
Valerie Berrettini.
She was at the meeting back August of last year. She was one of those teachers who helped get a bunch of teachers to the meeting at the Y. Okay.
So I talked with her briefly.
So you
also.
talked to Valerie today?
Yes, I talked to her briefly also today. So she's more than willing. She's one of those persons who just said, just tell me what I need to do and I will help you do it. So I do have quite a few of the staff there that's willing to go far beyond the cause of just helping, trying to get the word out and letting people know that we're trying to fight to keep the school open. So any support I can get from everybody. Oh, even my son is volunteer. But I show our little flyer my son made.
Yeah.
I would be perfect.
This is the flyer that has been put together for School 44. Let's see, what was I going to say?
Very nice.
Oh, the PTO. You met with the PTO president today?
She has a lot of facts under her belt, but not a lot of attendance. So today was my first time meeting her.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I told her if she didn't want to help, she needed to step aside and let someone who was willing to go the long haul do it, because I have no problem, doing what it takes to get the job done, going where I need to go, short of, robbing a bank or anything. But I do want to make sure that we touch as many people as we can. Like I said, I don't want to just keep it in the school and with the parents. I want it to be a neighborhood operation. I want the people of the neighborhood to have some say in what's going to happen in their neighborhood. So,
You'll have the information from somebody you're talking with tomorrow
the
morning?
PTO president.
PTO president? Okay.
I'm gonna have it from her first thing in the morning. She said she's gonna meet with me at the school again. And she will have all the information I have asked her for. Plus, she said if she can arrange it, she will see if she can show up to the Board of Education meeting.
Oh, so all that stuff that you were asking about before the school's attendance, how many are in the neighborhood, you're asking for that from the PTO president?
The PTO president and the president of the school and everything.
The principal of the
The
school?
principal, I mean, of the school, sorry. And the parent liaison, I mean, I made sure there's people there so that it wasn't stuck all on one person, so that there should be no excuse of why I couldn't get that little bit of information, so that when I go into that meeting tomorrow night, I don't wanna just go in there just wanting to say how much I want the school. I want some facts to
Yeah.
let them know that the school has improved since they made their decision, you know? Now, regardless of what y'all found out back then, since then, this is what the school has done to improve itself and to try to work with the community.
Have you heard any numbers from the principal? Because I thought when we went in and talked to them earlier this year, didn't they say that they had improved attendance a lot? or am I-
Attendance, the food, well, they didn't give me any numbers. The attendance has improved, the grades have improved, and actually, like I was saying, the overall participation in the school has improved. Whereas it's not just a school where the kids come learning and that's that. They do the food drives and things like that, stuff that they weren't really doing before. So they're trying to show more community outreach. The school in itself is showing more community outreach itself. So, I mean, this year, so far, they've had the Santa's workshop. They gave away Thanksgiving dinners, for people who may not have been as fortunate as others. They got Thanksgiving baskets, with the turkey and food and stuff like that. So, I mean, they're doing educational box drive, and when the kids bring them in, they get ice cream socials in their classroom, things like that. So they're doing more to have more incentives for the kids to encourage them to learn, to encourage them to not just learn, but to be a community within themselves. Because the teachers do not go around and collect these things. The kids go from room to room and collect the cans from the kids and the teachers. So they're learning to organize and to be more of a community within themselves, which is great because the big kids help. The little kids, bigger kids come down to the younger kids' classes and help tutor them and things like that. So, I mean, it's working out real well the way they're improving the schools.
Beverly, can you ask them what are they going to do with the 12-to-1 class they have in there, in case they have to move? What are they planning to do with the special education that they open not long ago in there? Less than a year.
I know. All this stuff is stuff that...
What's gonna happen with that kid?
Have his druthers.
Because these
Who
kids
knows?
got moved already 3 times.
Yeah.
What's going to happen again? We're going to move it again?
I couldn't tell you. See, that's what I'm saying. But there's too much that's going to happen if they close the school. And no one's taking into consideration the things the children are going to go through. And these are young children. You start bouncing them young, they're going to expect that the rest of their lives.
Because that's the problem with special education. You meet the parents, the children move 5, 7, 8 times. Every time they close a school, they forget about the special education, 12-to-1.
Because it's the first to go to.
That's the first program they start to close. We all tell the families. And that's what I asked Mr. Vargas. And he still cannot, this is the same question I will ask him tomorrow. Mr. Vargas, what's going to happen to the 12-to-1 and 50-to-1 special education? What are you going to do with my families again? That's my question I had tomorrow.
Well, we saw how far that got us with that answer.
Yes.
He's very good. If I ever wanted to hear someone take me around the world and still not get me where I was going, it's him.
Oh, yeah, it
You
confused me
know,
too.
and he has a very obtuse way of answering the simplest question. You ask him straight up and he'll take you and still haven't answered the question. Still hasn't gave you the straight, yeah. And then when you try to press him,
Oh,
he
yeah.
dismisses you. He wants to
Yes.
move on to the next person.
Yes.
Oh, we did that last night. Well,
Yeah.
we need to move on to someone
Someone
else. Because we keep trying to get him to answer the question. Just answer the question. I'm gonna ask you again, answer the question. You told me about Chicago, you told us about
Philadelphia.
I mean, you told us everything but what about here at Rochester, what we're dealing with here.
And what does he say when you're trying to,
Next.
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 He said it's time to move on. He needed to listen to some other parents talk about what they wanted to talk about.
After the meeting last night, in fact, Eleanor sent me an email from Chip Partner, who was the gentleman sitting across from us that was on the computer
Yeah.
in a suit there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he was looking for information, emails, and I don't know, he just wanted more contact. He had first names for the three ladies. So I gave him the whole rundown. I told him they were going to gang up on him and Dr. Vargas. Now I gave him good references about what you ladies have been up to. So if somebody gives you a call, I'm the one who gave them your phone.
You sure it's gonna
We
be a
gave
call
all
or
that information.
We didn't do it.
Oh.
Dang.
Mary Adams, she mentioned yesterday she was still waiting for some information
Yes,
back
I
from
know.
you.
Oh.
I told you.
Give her a call and make peace because she's
Okay,
a person
okay.
Yeah, just explain it.
we want to have a good relationship with.
I love to speak to her, but we have a gap because the lawyers.
Yeah, well, you know, I kind of explained that to her when she said she was still waiting
Yes.
for names from
explain
you, but
briefly?
This okay. Let me explain. For 4 years, I went to Mr. Vargas in the special education. I spoke to everybody about that they're breaking the IP's individual plans the child's have. They were not follow what we came to an agreements. And Mr. Vargas used to tell me, "Don't worry, Anna. I'm going to hire a new person. He will hire somebody else, and that person will come and spend a lot of money and never fix the problem."
What,
Now, what exactly is the problem?
The problem is that when, you do an individual plan, an IP, they call it IP, to this person, they say that this is your needs, okay? You're gonna need OT, physical therapy, speech, you're gonna need 101 aid, you're gonna need time to do the state test, okay? So you're not gonna go and take the child and put it with the regular kids. He's gonna get a space to do his stage in a small room for his state test. Well, what they used to do was, okay, you get the IP and you come back, the child is failed, the child gets suspension, the child is not behaving, and you come to the class and tell the teacher, can we change the IP? And the teacher turned around and said, why IP? I said, the individual plan this child had. She said, I never saw it. Nobody give it to me.
IP means what?
Individual plan.
Oh,
Individual
okay.
Education plan.
Okay.
And it's a
Basically-
federal paper. It's not a paper that the city give it to you, or it's a 504. It's very different. This is a state federal paper. It said this is the way this child has to be educated. This is his needs.
And it's a required process
Yes.
that they just ignore.
Yes.
Yep.
I mean, there's a mandate that says they have to have that.
And that's just how the lawyers are involved?
Yeah.
Yes.
Basically,
On
we have a
whose
lot of,
side?
Our side.
Oh, good.
The parents.
Okay.
we have a lot of horror stories regarding about what's been going on in the district regarding special education. Rights are being violated. Period. So
Are you talking mostly Spanish speaking now or?
Minorities.
minorities,
Minorities.
mainly.
Yeah.
Minorities, okay.
Yes.
We work with everyone.
And
But primarily people who speak a second language.
my kids got, there's supposed to be only 5 days suspension for children with IEP. What they doing now is they suspend the child for 5 days. He go back Monday and the teacher will suspend him another 5 days. This child had to be evaluated, for the new individual
came to
plan.
this country
But
in
he
July.
can't. He can't do it because he's every 5 days is suspension. And we're still waiting for his paperwork.
Now, is this one child? or
No, I
is
got
this-
20 in the same situation.
In your in your classes, or?
And any school, especially Monroe, we having a lot of, in the East High School. That's the major one. And School 22, School number 9, we have some problems too.
I know that there are some kids in special ed in 22. Are they getting
Yes,
that kind of attention?
yes.
Okay.
We have 22 have another kind of problem. The School 22 don't understand the law. It's a law when people is homeless. They call it
McKinley.
McKinley law. I don't know you know what that law is. What School 22 is done to some of my parents was they call social service and report the parents like they're not taking the kids to school. But I tried to explain the last meeting we had, that was last week, to the teacher, that we send emails to the principal, emails to social service, and emails to everybody that this family was homeless. They are living in somebody's house floor. And they moved 3 times because for people's welcome for a week or 2 weeks, by the 3rd week they smell like fish and kick you out, and then they get moved to somebody else. You have to wait 5 days until transportation come and get the child to the other place. Okay, they stay there 2 weeks, another 2 weeks they get moved to somebody else will pick out the family with the 4 kids. Thanksgiving Day, I found a place and put the family. School 22 decide to report the mother like an unfit mother for not sending the child to school. Okay? We went to the meeting and I explained to the teacher why you the only school that did this, because East High School did not report the family because they knew it through the emails, through the social worker, that they don't have a place to live.
Right.
The teacher decided was because she was not bringing the uniforms and she was not follow Mr. Tomas' school. I say, you never heard about this law. And that's when she stayed quiet and say, well, I supposed to call social service when they miss school. I say, no, this child is homeless. It's a different kind of law. And this is what happened with these kids. A lot of the children that we work with.
So anyways, that's how this litigation got
Yes,
started.
this is the way the litigation is.
Okay, well,
You're going to read it in the newspaper tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning, not tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning, yeah.
No,
When she's going to put it.
Justin Murphy's working on this as a collective piece. It's not just interviewing one parent.
Okay, but Channel 8 is going to have some news too.
That's not until after the board meeting.
Yeah, after the board meeting that we have tomorrow.
Channel 8 is
Yes.
going to...
Yes.
Yeah.
They're waiting for the board meeting first.
We don't know.
Can
if
we get back and finish up with
Yes.
44?
Sorry. Okay. More
No.
questions?
Yeah, one thing while I thinking of it,
Crazy.
one of the things that hopefully we can do with some of the work that Anna and Brianna are doing and working with Beverly is try to use each other's networks to lobby for 44 and connect with parents. It would be good if we can also, while we're doing that, whatever we can do to promote getting people to know about 16 coming back and the fact that local families, need to start thinking ahead
Yeah.
into using that
Mr.
school.
Vargas recognized that he did not inform the community.
Yes.
He recognized that he don't inform our people speak a second language. He recognized and they say, it's a lot of lack information to the people that don't speak another
Who
language.
said that?
Mr. Vargas, he recognized that. I
Yes.
appreciate he did that. Because he
And-
didn't know.
And in conjunction with School 44, it's not that I have nothing against 16. nieces go there now, right now, great nieces. We're going there. John has a little flyer, a little critiquing flyer, the flyer for everyone. I hope he can plug it in and see if he would like to critique it. And it's just like School 44. First, I'm trying to say 44 first and foremost. But 16 is on the heel of 44, and it is also a community school. I wanted to see it come back. If it comes back, I want to see it come back bigger and better. So the best way for that is to involve the community, let the parents know. So when all is said and done, I've had my son do a flyer for that one that says, let us educate you about our new school, and it's 16. So that we can start having little meetings, maybe gradually at the library, to start gearing up the community to want to bring their children back to 16. Just like I want to gear up the community to want to keep their kids in 44. 44 is over here, 16 is over there. We can share. We can share. And nurturing for our children.
Now, your son is
Autistic and 22.
22, but he's graduated from
RIT.
RIT
Lived
and
on campus.
lived on campus, and he's helping you with the flyers.
Flyers, anything they need, graphic design encompassing.
Mhm.
He's also, believe it or not, I ran it past him about the 19th ward in setting up a
The website?
website, and he's been trying to programming a fake website to kind of like run it through.
Oh, good.
So, I mean, my son he's one of those ones people wanted to give up on because he wouldn't walk, talk, or anything. And what a miracle worker God is, because he's done it all, And if it wasn't for our schools, he graduated from Wilson. Like I said, I used to live right there in Arnett. He graduated from Wilson Commencement. If there was a problem, all they had to do was hit the phone. I could get there in less than 2 minutes, because I live right there, pretty much on the corner of Arnett and Genesee Street. So that's why I'm so much into community schools, because to mainstream him, I fought the Board of Education to mainstream him out of special schools.
Yeah. One of the things. Did you? One of the things that we probably should think about doing, and we've got some people who are good at communications, and is to try to make better use than we have of some of the social media. I mean, I've been putting stuff on Location 19, but one of the problems that you have with any of these sites, if it's the same person putting stuff up all the time, people start ignoring it. We really need to try to get a network of people posting things about what's going on in the schools on Facebook. I know you tried to get on Facebook once when you were 12, but
Yeah, that's about it.
you're not on there now, but your mom is.
I am.
Getting friending all the people in the school, so that when you post something, it pops up on people's. I'm not a lover of Facebook, but I also try to recognize the fact that there are some things that it's real good at.
I'm not a lover of the computer, period, because
Yeah.
I'm just getting started at learning it.
I
Social media
am with you.
networking
I'm not the only one.
So,
Pardon?
but Miss Wilson does. She
Yeah.
has everyone on that instant mail or something like that.
Mhm.
Instagram, okay.
Oh, Instagram. I know how to use
Where
that.
she types in the information, and she just hits a button, and it just goes like haywire to everybody, like a mass mailing, So
Definitely, I have no idea what
she's
you're
doing.
talking about.
She's the one doing it, but so plus I'm trying to get more adept into the computer myself, like I said. And another thing is that I didn't want to just start with, once everything gets rolling, and I really need community backing from, like I said, not just, I don't want to just do flyers and stuff. I want to be able to, and I've already started trying to reach out to like the radio stations and things like that, to see if I can get them to just give me a little blurb on, there's a school meeting here for support your schools and, you know, communities.
If anyone wants lessons in some of those social media things, the libraries offer some classes in that.
I just found the little blue paper. I just found it for the computer class, that's the one?
From the library?
Yeah.
I don't know what color they are.
I just
They
found
they
it
do offer classes, so
yesterday.
that's an option.
So, and it's Tuesdays from 5 to 7 or 5 to 6.
Does Oasis have they've got a communications, what programs do you have there? Is there anything that can be useful in terms of getting some people who are doing communications stuff or?
They have customer service, they have printing and promotion, but it's not a communications.
Okay.
It wouldn't be a way to get stuff out. I am arranging with the customer service class because they do Microsoft Office Suite to create flyers for people, so that if people want a flyer for something, bring it to the class and let a student work on it. So it's good for the student, and they learn, you know, how to work with a customer. But that's all right now.
Okay, and Oasis is what?
Oasis is the Office of Adult and Career Education Services over at 30 Hart Street. And we've got like 8 different technical training programs: assembly, printing and promotion, electrician.
Do you work with all, do you work with like handicapped adults or anything?
It's limited.
Limited?
I think it is limited in that respect. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if that would work because they're working with like power tools and they're.
Oh, my son lived on campus and things like that. I mean, his autism,
Well,
he
I
has
think-
Asperger's, he's very
Yeah,
high
I think
functioning.
R2 is.
But it's just that he's one of those ones who, when you talk to him, he tends to look down, so.
They don't have social
Yeah,
skills.
the social skills are very
Yeah,
short.
but he might be a genius.
He is a genius.
Yeah,
I mean, academically he is, and he graduated with honors from her.
I think probably a lot of our kids.
Yeah, and it took him only 4 years to do a 6-year program, so.
So,
But with the proper education, you can see. But when they don't have the proper education for these children in their wrong
If you don't
placements,
fight,
it's a
that's-
mess.
That's the one thing, and like I said at your group, if the parents don't get in and advocate, if it's not like people like me and people who care about getting to advocate, everything can get pushed under a rug or shuffled around,
Well-
and none of the community is informed.